Good evening and welcome to the first Beyond the Front Page show for the fall 2017 semester here at Key Community College and broadcast on Spectrum, Verizon.
Start.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to our first Beyond the Front Page show for the fall 2017 semester here at Key Community College. The shows that are broadcast on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, and through the Auburn Regional Media Access, ARMA, and WDWN, the college's radio station. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. Well, if you haven't tuned in to Beyond the Front Page before, we'll give you an idea of what it's all about. We look at issues that may not necessarily be on the front pages of our daily newspapers, but are important to have community discussions about, such as today's about a local book that has been published, or future shows that we have planned on the Auburn Double Days, Cayuga Reads, the E. John Gavver Center, or the project at West Middle School. Tonight we are delighted to have Susan WABY, the president of the Finger Lakes Arts Council that is located in downtown Auburn, here. Her group recently held its 5th annual Art in the Park at Hoops Park, which was packed with artists and buyers. She also has just produced her second book for children, Downtown Ducks, that has just gone on sale. She also is coming on to talk about the search for these guys. There's 2 of them here that are being placed around the city and why people should start looking for them. Welcome back.
Thank you,
Guy.
Guy.
On your first book, The Delightful Ducks of Hoops Park.
Yes.
Which was great, and you've got a second book here.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all of that. Let's talk about Art in the Park first of all.
Sure.
It was held 2 Sundays ago. What was the event for those who may not, who blew it and didn't go?
Oh dear. Well, Art in the Park is an art show festival at Hoops Park here in Auburn. Finger Lakes Art has hosted it for 5 years now. We have about 57 vendors this year who participated.
Which is more than you have in the past.
More than the past, yes. So every year it grows a little bit, and we have a variety of artists there, a variety of mediums. It's just a community event.
So you had everybody from, I know you had a stained glass person, you had Tom Hussey who does oils, you had people who did, you had some food vendors on top of it.
Yes.
But you had everyone selling from refurbished pieces of furniture that have been turned into art to earrings. I know Sandy does the we can do it women's art.
Women's rights, yeah.
So you had all that type of stuff. How do you pick people, or do they just come to you and say, we want to be in a
Typically, when we put out our call for artists, we're looking for artists who do originally created, conceived, or repurposed. Okay. So we look for art and fine craft.
There, so you had the McCarthys were there with some
photography,
some beautiful photo pieces. This is not something that you go and you can go online and say, okay, I want.
No, absolutely not. It's all created by, exactly, all created by the artists. And again, it's art and fine crafts. So it's not juried per se, but we tend to steer those artists who want to apply for the type of vendors we're looking for.
So almost anybody with some type of taste in art,
you're going to find something there.
If you don't, well, I guess you're tasteless.
Then, well, yeah.
Any idea how many people attended?
That's always a hard one because we don't have an entrance gate. We don't sell tickets. I'm terrible at crowd estimations. You might be able to tell me better than.
I always rely on Sean Spicer.
Well,
no, I don't know. I live up in that neighborhood, but I have to say that you had clearly several hundred people walking through.
Yeah.
And a lot of people walking out of there with art.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just people browsing.
Yes.
They were people who said, okay, I'm
buying something, yes. And as I went around, I made it a point to go around. Of course, we want our vendors to be happy too.
Were they?
They were, so when I went around and I said, how's it going? And their first response is, oh, good. I said, no, but really, how's it going? I want to know how your sales are. And they were all, our sales are good, we're happy. I've had a few that said, this is the best show I've done this year. Very encouraged. We did a survey afterwards, and the surveys have all come back very positive. So we were very pleased with the outcome, and I think the community was pretty pleased too.
So Finger Lakes Arts Council ran it. Is that the only sponsor of this event?
Yes, we host it.
Okay.
So we.
Do you make money off of it?
Well,
for operations?
We hopefully do.
Okay. When all the bills still
when
have to be paid.
all the bills are paid, yeah. We try not to have any money coming out of our general fund. We want it to be self-sustaining. We'd like it to grow. So as an Arts Council, we're always looking for funds.
So will there be a 6th annual?
There will. September 15th of 2018. I've already booked it.
And you'll be at Hoops Park again?
We will be at Hoops Park.
Okay. So let me, and good luck on that. I hope you have just as beautiful weather.
Me
It wasn't
too.
too hot. It wasn't too cold. Well, because you were deeper in the fall the first year, weren't you?
The first year we were the first weekend in October. After that, we backed it up to the last weekend of the summer. Of course, weather's always up in the air, so to speak.
So before you came on, I said, what's new at the co-op? And you said, well, we're not really the co-op anymore. So
Right.
let's talk about that for a second. You do say you're the Finger Lakes Arts Council.
Yes.
So what is that?
Okay. So in May of 2013, when we opened, we were a cooperative, meaning there was a group of artists who got together, they shared the space, they brought their work in for sale, everybody shared in the open hours. Last fall, we formed a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're Finger Lakes Arts Council now. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to be able to offer programming. We wanted to be able to have a gallery with shows. We wanted to be able to offer workshops and classes. We want to be able to go out into the community and do things.
So more than just space for somebody to sell something.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we went through the process of forming the 501c3, and we were successful in doing that. So we're still very much in our infancy, but we have received a couple of grants already. So that's helpful.
What type of grants?
We had this year, well, let's see, in 2016, we started the Art in the Playground program. And that's a program where we have gone to, last year it was 5 of the city playgrounds. We had permission from Parks and Recreation to do this, and we brought an art project to those playgrounds for the neighborhood children to come and enjoy.
So this is similar to when we were roughly the same age, but
yeah,
when we were kids, and
remember.
there were tongue depressors and
yeah,
Tool and glue, Elmer's glue,
yeah,
which the city had to get out of because it just wasn't the resources for it.
Right, exactly. And you know, we miss that. And that was primarily when I contacted the city. I said, you know, we really miss it. We understand there's not the funding there, but we would like to do this. Last year we funded it on our own. This year we did apply for a grant through the New York State Council of the Arts Decentralization Grant. We were able to
NYSCA.
NYSCA. We were able to get a grant that helped with some of the funding. And in the summer we went to 8 city playgrounds this year and did a watercolor project with the children. And then those children were invited to submit their finished pieces to Art in the Park to have on exhibit in the clubhouse.
And so you're a 501c, you're the president of the board, so there's a board of directors?
There is a board of directors, and let me just correct you. I am not the president, I am the treasurer.
Oh.
Sandra Shutter is the president.
Okay.
But I know.
I read that in the newspaper the other day,
yes.
and I'm sorry.
Well, and there, initially I was.
Okay. So is it all artists who are on the board?
No.
Okay.
No. You know, we also have community members. We have about 7 board members right now, and of course we're always looking for some others.
So you've been in the downtown, which is right across from the Auburn Public
Yes.
Theater, for about 3 years, you said now?
It is. It was May of 2013, so 4.5 years, 5 years in May. Yeah.
So you sell art there. You also do some other stuff. So I've seen, I thought I saw advertisements for wine and painting.
Well, we do painting parties upstairs.
Painting party, okay.
Which, yeah.
With or without wine?
No wine.
No wine, okay. I know there are people who do wine.
Who do wine.
Okay.
We do not.
But you do some classes in the building as well?
We do.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are normal hours?
Normal hours are Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then on Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And do you do anything else there besides this painting that I was talking about?
Well, we do offer workshops and classes. So right now our fall schedule of workshops and classes is coming out. We have a variety of artists, not necessarily our artists. I have a woman from Rochester who's coming to do a painting and drawing class. Somebody from the Dryden area who's going to be doing some fiber arts. So they.
So I want to ask you this question. So your call. So I asked this because I did a panel discussion last week. One of the panelists was from the Cayuga County Arts Council,
Yes.
which owns the Shine.
Correct.
You are a separate
We're
entity.
a separate organization, Finger Lakes Arts Council.
So how big a service area do you cover?
The Finger Lakes region is what we aim for.
So that's your charter with the IRS?
Yes.
Okay. So totally separate. You do not own the Shines?
We do not own the Shines.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that. So let me tell you why I really wanted you here, and that was because of this, because I think these are great books. You came up with a new book, Downtown Ducks. When did you paint and write it?
Oh, gee. Now, Guy, you're partly responsible for this because you've been hounding me since the first one came out.
Well,
when are you doing the second one? So
I have a 5-year-old. We need to get this well. When you start doing novels, then we'll.
So Downtown Ducks was written this past summer, and the illustrations were painted shortly thereafter. And
so what's the story about? Because I have not read this yet.
It's a good read.
So what's it about?
A lot sometime. It's a sequel to The Delighted Ducks.
Can I just, for a second, I will most likely be reading it at Christmas time. Sam, do not watch this. Ad nauseum. Sam and Nadine may be getting this. So anyway, my niece loves this book as well, or loves this one.
That one, yeah.
So what's the story about?
Okay, so the story is about a family of ducklings who are hatched at Hoops Park, and they learn how to fly. Mama and Papa are nurturing them at Hoops Park, and they're kind of a rebellious group, and they decide that they're going to venture out of the park because they hear people who visit the park always talking about this place called downtown.
Okay.
So, and their names are things such as Seward, Seymour, Harriet, Lucretia, Miles, and Little Willard.
Okay. So I should ask this. Do you have to read volume 1 like Game of Thrones where you have to
I think you'll be okay. If you,
So they're standalone
It
story.
is a standalone.
Just out of curiosity, this was the first. How many copies did you print of this?
I printed about 600.
Okay, and these are almost all gone.
Those, I've got about 10 left.
Okay, and so how many have you printed here?
So far I've printed 250.
And so why do the second, other than people like me hounding you?
Well, to me it's fun.
Okay.
So I just enjoy the park. I enjoy the character of giving to the ducks. I'm kind of selfish. It was more for my enjoyment than anything. But put it out there. I think it's a regional thing that people can enjoy, they can relate to. Not only children, but adults. I had people purchasing the first book who were, well into adulthood, but remember the park, remember Auburn, whether they live here still or not, people in nursing homes. It's just something to enjoy. It's colorful. And that was my driving force. So
you have pieces like this, which is the bandstand where if you go on Tuesday nights to Hoops Park during the summer, there are concerts there. Is this art for sale as well, or is this something you're just keeping and you put it in the book?
The originals I have not put up for sale. I will likely be doing some prints.
Okay. And so how much is this book?
That book is $29.95.
And where can you buy it?
It can be purchased downtown at Finger Lakes Art at 101 Genesee Street.
And is that and I know we had a second bookstore which was very supportive of your first book.
Yeah, they were.
And a lot of local authors. So you can go down there, you can pick up copies at Finger Lakes Art. Okay. All right. So you got this done. What's number 3?
Oh, well, the possibilities are endless.
Well, everything's in 3s.
Yes.
The Hunger Games, everything else.
I just drove by Hoops Park, and there was a beautiful crane sitting on the rock in the center, and I thought it could be about some of the other wildlife that's there. So, but in the meantime, we want people to look for these ducks downtown.
So, okay, which leads me to this little fellow and his mother or her mother. When we were up at Hoops Park for Art in the Park, you had 4 or 5 of these around your table.
Yes.
You're doing something with these.
I am. And Mary McCarthy, who is the photographer and a friend of mine, was telling me about Greenville, South Carolina, and their Mice on Main project or fun thing that they do there. And so that inspired me. And what this is that much like in Greenville, South Carolina, there is this children's book, in this case about ducks, and now we have to look for these ducks in the downtown area.
So you have placed 4 other of these, and these 2 are going somewhere at some point?
Yes. Actually, there are 6 ducklings total.
Okay.
This is number 6, and Mama and Papa.
And so do people get clues, and where do they get the clues?
The clues are, if you purchase a book, it's tucked in the cover of the book. If you purchased a book at Art in the Park, it was not yet out, so you're welcome to come to Finger Lakes Art and pick up a list of
So it's only for
clues.
those people who buy the book?
Yes.
Should be looking, okay.
Well,
so give me an example of a clue.
Okay.
And if I know it, I won't answer it.
Where to go and what to see. Oh my, I can't decide.
Okay, so there are
That's
how
an
many
easy
clues? So
Pick up the book and look.
Okay, so the book ties into some of the questions.
Yes.
Okay, so what happens? People go out, they try to locate. They cannot pick up the ducks because they're in places where they're not.
They're visible,
but not
accessible.
Okay, that's
it's
great.
It's more for fun. It's just a fun, interactive community.
And do you get a prize if you get these?
You get a hefty pat on the back. Good
okay.
job.
And how long is this going to go for?
It's going to be ongoing, hopefully. Much like Greenville, South Carolina, if you go down there, the mice on Main.
So will you move the ducks from time to time?
I may periodically shift them around and revise the clues.
So has anybody found one yet?
I have not heard of anybody finding one yet.
Okay. I did want to ask you, and I say this because I looked at the cover, and it said, you can barely make it out, it says visitor information. Mm-hmm. We just had the mayor on, and we're talking about the visitor center that is going to be located across from City Hall, but next to Seward House. How important is a visitor center to the generation of artists and business through not only Finger Lakes Arts, but also generally for the arts locally? Do you think the visitor center will be a game changer for you?
I think it's important to share information about what the community offers, artists and others likewise, and sometimes people don't necessarily discover things on their own, but to have a location that has a variety of information available. And
I know this, I am assuming this is the Cuyahoga County Arts, but I saw the visitors.
This is the Cuyahoga Tourism office.
Meg Vannick's office.
Yes.
What do you think the state of the arts is right now in Cuyahoga County?
Well, part of the purpose of us forming our Arts Council was that we wanted to have representation for not only artists, but for people to experience art. So, it's a two-way street, and we just felt that there was a void there. And Cuyahoga County can be a little bit challenging when it comes to art. It's, not something that has been widely embraced in the past, although I think it's getting much better. So what do we do to make
sure it's better embraced?
I think we've made great strides. I think the Downtown Art Trail, I think the theater, in particular Auburn Public Theater and the Merry-Go-Round Theater, I think people are starting to really embrace the culture of arts. And I think that just having events like Art in the Park, things like this, that it just exposes people. That's why, too, we wanted to go to the playgrounds and do an event. In particular in areas, neighborhoods that might be low income. We don't want them to have to come to us all the time. We want to bring it to them.
So accessibility.
Accessibility.
Well, 20 minutes goes very quickly. So the book is Downtown Ducks. You can purchase this at the downtown office of the Finger Lakes Arts Council at
101 Genesee Street.
No,
2995. I'm sorry.
For the book, you get the survey or the clues for the scavenger hunt.
Yes.
We do want to thank the treasurer of the Finger Lakes Arts Council, Susan WABY. We look forward to having her on for book 3. I'll be on you like a cheap suit on this one. But we do wish you well on this because this is great and it's great for the community. Yeah. This is a great Christmas gift, great birthday gift. It's a very big hit with kids and, as you said, adults and people who remember Auburn as it was.
Yes.
We'll be back on Thursday with a normal run of shows. We'll be back with Inside Government featuring Auburn School Superintendent of Schools Jeff Parazola, who's going to talk about the kickoff of the new school year as well as the recently completed Holland Stadium that was opened up last Friday night. The second show will be another Beyond the Front Page. We'll have the E. John Gavris Center here. Their new capital campaign will be discussed with Board Chair Bob Padula, Principal of Education Services Ken Ward, and Social Worker Joe Emilio. Next Tuesday, we'll be back on the 3rd with New York State Assemblyman Brian Kolb to discuss his possible run for governor in 2018. But more importantly, closer to the calendar year, the Constitutional Convention will face voters in November. That will be followed by an update on the Auburn Double Days with General Manager Adam Winslow, and then we'll be ending the week before we start our forums with Cuyahoga County Chairman of the Legislature, Keith Batman, as well as a discussion about what's going on at West Middle. Then we'll have our legislature and city council forums, and we'll be back with our normal season. I would like to take a moment, as I did with the last show, just to thank someone who has left the telecom department here at the college. He was an integral part of the shows for the last 11 years. Sean Secor has left Cuyahoga Community College to run the television studio and labs at SUNY Oswego full time. He was a great member of the team here, and he will be missed. Before we go, though, we would like to let you know that you can send your ideas for questions to Inside Government or Beyond the Front Page. You can email us at cozguytho@aol.com or Inside Government, 141 Dunning Avenue, Auburn, New York, 13021. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cuyahoga Community College. I want to thank you for watching. We hope you have a good night and have a great tomorrow. And remember, go buy some books.